Hello, my beautiful and lovely gamers. My name is Jonal. Today we are answering a question that was just asked on our Discord server. It gets asked more and more when I Twitch stream, because I play more and more Tracer on my stream. When should we pick Genji? When should we pick Tracer? What's the differences in between the situation we should pick in? And how do you think between who do I want to pick? So I will go through how I look at it, and then we will go through breaking down the different kits so that you guys see in detail more. Because the first one here would be very a general way of thinking. So how I like to think it is, step one, do I need high ground control a lot? Will I need to do high ground control? Yes or no? If the answer is yes, you need a lot of high ground control, then Genji is my pick, immediately. Dorado, perfect example, both first, second, and third point are very reliant on high ground control. Especially like if you're offensive, especially because you will have to take the high ground instead of being able to set up on it like you can on defense. Then Genji, in my opinion, is an incredible strong pick compared to Tracer, because even though Tracer is fast horizontally, she has to walk stairs to get to high ground or do like all kinds of fancy jumps. Genji can just walk up to a wall and then hold space, and then he's on that high ground, right? So he can be way better at harassing, controlling high grounds compared to someone like a Tracer. On top of that, I asked myself, how is my team gonna play? And how does my team look, and how do I expect the enemy team to play? If I expect my team to experience a lot of pressure, right? So a good example is King's Row first point. We all know King's Row first point. If I see that my team has what's it called? Orisa, Hog, Junkrat, right? Ana, Moira, okay? That is the team composition of my team. And I expect the enemy team to go triple tank, which is very common on King's Row, or even quad tank, or a very aggro, even just a very aggro death ball. If that is what I'm expecting, then I know that, okay, my Orisa, my Hog will most likely get pushed very back. So then I gotta ask myself, can I play in the main group of that team? With Genji a lot of time? No. I will normally get pushed back with my team and be forced into kiting, which really allows me to rely on the fact that my team has to deal a lot of burst damage, so I as Genji can capitalize on that with a dash, or I land a random 3 headshots on a support and can dash him and kill secure him. There are ways, I talked in my previous episode, the proper play style of how to quote-unquote flank with Genji, how you shouldn't do it, how you should do it, and I brought up King's Row as an example. That is an exception to that rule where you can play him like that. So if you're a little bit confused, check out that video in the description. But yeah, so that is the whole premise. So if I know that my main group is going to collapse very quickly, if I know my main group is going to be under severe stress, and I know the enemy team is going to play aggro, I pick Tracer. Because when they play aggro, when the main group, the tanks of the enemy team play aggro, they create what I like to call a snake, right? And when they create this snake line, this incredibly thin line, that's an incredible tool for me as a Tracer player to take advantage of, right? They leave their support behind, especially if they run Senyatas or Anas and stuff like that. They leave their support behind to keep distance so they can, heal from a distance, do damage, which is, by definition, what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to keep that distance, so if I was Genji in the main group, I couldn't get to them easily. But since I'm not Genji and I'm a Tracer, I can wait in the backline of the enemy team. So that's how I like to think about it. Will I have to control high ground? How will the enemy team, do they pick a lot of tanks that I cannot deal with a Dragon Blade? Do they pick a lot of tanks, a lot of heroes that I will have problem, getting to? And if they will push back my team a lot and not allow, and my team can't create proper space for me as a Genji, I will play Tracer, because I don't need my team to create space for me as Tracer. I, in theory, just need my team to get shot at. Like, if the enemy team is just looking at my team and I play Tracer, I can hit their backline. I'm not reliant. I'm kind of detached from the team. While as Genji, you're kind of on a very loose leash. Like, you're allowed to, keep a lot of angles, a lot of sides of your team, which is very, nice. So you can, stay on the flanks and apply a lot of damage and dash in and get kills and all that good stuff. But if your team get pushed back, even though, you in the end will also have to go back with your team, Tracer is not like that. And let's talk a little bit about that and break down the kit. This is very important. When we look at the damage comparison, we see that Tracer has insane amount of DPS and burst compared to Genji. Genji can burst a lot of damage, but when Genji bursts with damage, that means that he dashes into them as well. Which normally means, it's all in or nothing. I go in and I go all in. I get the kill or I die. That's a lot of time what happens with Genjis. That is something that we are very reliant on with Genji. Besides that, it's a very kiting style. As I said, you play around the team, you kite a lot. Tracer's guns are very much, I can go in, but because Tracer has way better mobility, she has recall, she has 3 blinks, like it regains all the time. She's not using an ability to deal the damage that she uses for the burst. She just used the ability to move, and then her guns have the burst potential, right? So she can go up to someone and just nuke him. No matter if she has her blink or not. And if she has no ability, she can still burst. If Genji doesn't have that, she cannot burst in the same way, right? Except if you have incredibly god tier aim and lands incredible amount of headshots all of a sudden, right? But then if you start saying that, then you can say that about almost all heroes. If they just land every direct hit with a rocket or every headshot, you know, everyone has insane burst potentials. So that is, you know, one of the big differences, that you choose kind of like the damage output. As I said, playing around, you know, Tracer a lot of time flank. She has the option to flank. I talked about that in my previous episode as well. She has the option to flank. She a lot of time is hiding in the backline, not really that connected to her team, while Genji is very connected to his team. He to a certain extent relies on his team to apply pressure, break shields, so either he can deal the damage onto someone to kill them, or so that his team can deal the damage and he can follow up on that damage. That's kind of how the Genji is relying on. One of the more important things is ultimates. Genji's Dragon Blade is one of the biggest reasons to pick Genji, because a Dragon Blade equals a win. If you get a standard Dragon Blade, when they don't like use trance on it or some shit like that, right? And it's just the pure Dragon Blade, no Graviton, no Shatter. Normally, in average, against a 2-2, 2 DPS, 2 tanks, 2 support, gets an average of about 2 kills. Like plain, like a free blade, as it's called, with no ultimates from the enemy team countering it, and you're not getting nanoed or anything. A nano blade normally gets an average in those for 3 kills. That's kind of like what you should go for. 3 kills, 4 kills, that's like the good thing with nano blade as well, right? Essentially, you should be able to kill most of their DPS lines and support lines with a nano blade. Right, if they run team composition where you can't do that, if they run, let's say, quad tank with Lucio and Moira, right? Then all of a sudden you gotta ask, am I actually, like, first of all, I don't have burst potential to kill the tanks. I can't damage, like, kill secure a tank. I can't just dash on a tank. They will have too much HP, too much healing, right? So my damage as Genji is not really following up on that, and my Dragon Blades are not gonna get value. I don't get value out of swinging at the hog. I don't get value out of that. I get value at hitting, like, Ana's, Soldiers, McCree's, Hansel's, Widowmakers, Zenyatta's that don't have trans, Lucio's, right? Moira's Mercy. All of those I get value out of, but this team composition with Quad Tank and the Lucio and the Moira, I can kill the Lucio. I can kill the Moira if I don't fuck up my dash, and the rest of them are just like, I just hope my team DPSs them so that they are so low that I can kill them with a blade. And that's really what you're relying on. Compared to Tracer, Tracer gets a pulse bomb. One, it builds incredibly much faster, meaning that you have a higher chance of getting a pick, right? Especially towards, you know, higher healers. If a 5v6 is a lot of time a loss, especially if you play on a team. If your team loses a player, a lot of time, people will back off early engagement, or they in general will just lose the fight, not commit with their ultimates. So in theory, if you can just stick one of their team members and kill him each fucking time you have your pulse bomb, you get a way higher way to disturb the enemy team, because you can get like 2 pulse bomb per 1 blade, right? And that is in theory, you know, using 2 pulse bomb, you win 2 team fights compared to only winning 1 team fight, right? So the ultimate gain is also way different. And with Tracer, a pulse bomb can do a lot to tanks. Blade doesn't do that because the pulse bomb is instant burst. It's like, boom, there you go, bye-bye, right? As long as you do a little bit follow, they're dead. If it's Asari, she's dead. If it's D.Va, you just need to shoot a little bit. Reinhardt, you just need to do like 100 extra damage, and then he's done, right? So the ultimates are also very, very important to think about. Which one do I really need? Then again, as I said, if the enemy team is just camping high grounds, then you gotta ask yourself, you know, okay, can I get to the high ground and be effective with Tracer, or am I gonna stand on the payload and just shoot up into the roof, right? So I hope that explains a little bit of how I think about playing it, and, you know, we could talk about their movement kit. I think that everyone understood the movement kit, that, you know, Genji's relying on dash, he doesn't have as much movement. He has very vertical movement, while Tracer has insane horizontal movement, but not, you know, can't really climb, has to run stairs a lot, right? So I think that this was a good way to explain the differences and how I like to think about it. If you have any questions, always, guys, drop those down in the comment section. I was about to say description, comment section down below. Like the video if you like, and dislike if you did, and subscribe if you knew and you'd like what I do on this channel. I highly recommend you guys checking out the previous video if you're interested more in this topic, or come and ask me live when I'm live on Twitch at 8 p.m. Norwegian time, almost every day, not Tuesdays, not Thursdays, and sometimes not in the weekends. But besides that, guys, I hope you guys have a lovely, lovely gaming experience. My name has been Jonal. And as always, guys, take care of yourself and keep the enemy in your crosshair.